There's fast cars. Then there's the Chevy Corvette. A 6.2 liter V8 rear-wheel drive and just enough chaos to keep things interesting. It's always been America's answer to supercars. And that is why it is a staple of American culture. And I honestly never knew I would want to own one. Is it an early midlife crisis? Possibly? The problem is Corvettes are still pretty expensive. Even the lower end models, bottom dollar seems to be the $30,000 range. If we want a heavily discounted one, we're gonna have to buy a crashed one. Oh, like a really badly crashed one. Thankfully, I think we may have found the one. 2017 Grandsport, which I believe is all pretty much the same as the Z06 except for a few changes to the engine and no supercharger, but it is the 3LT package, meaning it is the highest possible trim level for this car. Cool interior as well. Now, the negatives. Every single panel on this car seems to be damaged, and there's snow under the car, so I think it's been sitting for months. Oh, and of course it's shaped like a banana. Now what I'm betting on and praying on is that the damage stopped at the door and it did not bend the chassis. We also don't know the mileage or if the engine even turns, but there's only one way to find out. Pump it up, don't you know, pump it up. I don't want to pay more than 17 for this car. If it goes over 17, or honestly, if it goes over 16, I'm still going to be a little iffy. Oh shoot, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Here's the vet, 9.7K.
Sold.
Did we just win? Let's go, 9K. This may be too good to be true, especially since we were the only ones that bid on this car. Shout out to Nor, aka Naughty Auto Parts, for bidding for us. He's the GOAT.
No, ni en la foto ni tenía un bumper, so.
Looks like we got a rear bumper and tail lights. Unfortunately, there was zero power getting to the car, and I noticed this whole module piece was off for some reason. So we had to manually put it into neutral to be able to push it down the trailer.
Is that neutral?
Pushing this car down the trailer was terrifying, but we were able to pull it off, and it's on the ground. Thank you, Sebastian and the tow guy. He was absolutely awesome. Most people would take $10,000 and invest it somewhere smart. Maybe they're feeling risky, put it all on black. But me, I bet $10,000 on this, and the fact that I could fix it, or at least try. Every other person that would purchase a car like this would be to sell it for parts. And that explains why we were the only one to buy it at the price we did. This is a C7 Corvette Grandsport. Comes with a 6.2 liter V8, and when it got here, we realized it's actually a collector's edition, which is pretty special. It's only 347 out of 1,000. We got a little number flag too, which is great. Thankfully, the damage is only on that side of the car. We still have the engine, and the front end is very, very good. That's the bright side of things, but it kind of ends there because after checking the dipstick, there's zero oil in the dipstick. So if this thing crashed, oil spilled everywhere, it might be hydrolocked. That's another thing we gotta look out for. And down here is an oil cooler. Now, I don't know if it's for the oil or the transmission fluid, but the lines got absolutely ripped off. This thing is ripped off. We have 45% of the front bumper. The logo's broken. The rear hatch is good, massive positive. And at the auction, we didn't have a rear bumper. They actually gave us the rear bumper and the tail lights, which the rear bumper is pretty much destroyed, but we do have the tail lights. So there we go. We're saving some money somewhere. Actually, that's about everything good that this car has. Let's talk about everything bad. We're missing the headlight, which cost this much money. And if we come down here, we can see that the fender, it's fiberglass, and well, it is destroyed, so we're gonna need a fender. The Grandsport logo is destroyed. The wheel absolutely curb rashed. Oh, if you zoom in there, all the radiators are like pushed all the way back in there. Oh, another good thing though, we do have the hood. The hood is not damaged at all, which is great. We'll save some money there. We need a new windshield. Even on the side that wasn't crashed, the fender is still destroyed because it is fiberglass. Now, this might be repairable. I don't know. This door's good though. That's awesome. This quarter panel also looks good to me, which is great. All the wheels are on the car, but the only reason I bid on this car was because I gambled. And I just saw the damage, and this is bad.
Looks like we lost the gamble of the damage stopping at the door. And now I know why we were the only ones to bid on this car.
Shout out to the door. Obviously, we got the blue interior for the collector edition, but look at that. That is the chassis of the car completely curved in. I was not ready for this. I was not ready for this at all. And this is why most people that buy things like this, they just part it out. Any person in the right mind would part this car out because of this. I was hoping that the only damaged part was this outer shell, but it destroyed the outer shell and everything that goes with it, because that is the frame right there.
And the Corvette frame is aluminum, which makes it almost impossible to fix when crashed, because aluminum does not like to bend and it cracks easily.
The frame leg goes from the back of the car all the way here and through the front right there into what you know as the bash bar. If the damage was in the frame rail but up here, that'll be much easier because you can just chop it off and put another section on. But the fact that it's quite literally in the middle of the car is gonna make this rebuild so difficult. I mean, I quite literally do not know how I'm gonna fix this. I really don't. But oh man, we're still inside a C7 Corvette Collector Edition. And here's the thing, the car doesn't feel like it bananaed. It kind of just feels like it squished the frame rail and the damage stopped there. So that's kind of what I'm betting on. But oh, wow, look at the roof. This is so cool. And the top does come off, which is awesome. This could be a really cool car. But if the chassis is a complete banana and it is actually a banana vet, we got something else to worry about. So I think right now what we have to do is push this thing into the shop and figure out where the damage goes and how deep it is, because we might have just lost $10,000.
Kevin and I managed to push this thing up the gravel driveway inch by inch. Absolutely insane.
Now I know how Egyptians built the pyramids, but jokes aside, with such a massive build, especially on a platform I've never worked on before, we have to be organized, and right now we have to worry about 3 things. Let's get into this. Does the engine turn? How bad is the damage? And does the car start? Since sadly there was no oil in the sump, which I'm gonna check again. Let's see. Look at that. That is a dry dipstick. And what a sump is, these cars actually, I believe the Grandsport and Z06 have a separate oil tank from the engine. So usually on regular cars, the oil sits in the oil pan. This one has like a whole different little unit, and that's where the oil sits, and there's no oil in this car. We have to turn the engine and make sure that it is not seized. Because if the engine is seized, we're pretty much dealing with an overripe banana. I'm not dealing with it. There's nothing good about this car, but if we have a good engine, we can then start digging in further. Here we go. And the awesome thing about working with an American car is look how much space is inside this engine bay, even though there's a V8 6.2 liter. And the crank is right there. There's a massive bolt that we have to turn.
And this Corvette engine isn't just an engine. It's decades of evolution. It all started with Chevy's small block V8 back in the 1950s. Simple, compact, and built to make power. Over time, that same formula kept getting refined, lighter materials, better airflow, more efficiency, but never losing what made it great. And that's how we got the LS and eventually the LT1. That's the engine that we have in this car.
I believe we gotta remove this intake. There we go. Remove that from the throttle body. I believe these are 7mm. Bolt fell. Oh, there we go. Yes. Woohoo! We're gonna remove this clamp. Now, oh, look at that.
And now we have all the space in the world.
A regular ratchet does not fit down there because the steering rack is right in the way, so we got a really skinny one.
We're about to find out if this project is worth it or if we wasted $10,000.
It's on, it's on, it's on. Okay, okay, we're turning. Okay, we're turning. Another turn. Yes!
And the engine kept turning and turning and turning. Thank God it is not seized.
Engine turns. Yes! Whoever it was that disconnected this whole, I guess, battery module for the car that we had to plug back in when the car got here, thank you for doing that, because thanks to that, I believe is why the car was never able to get started. Seen how many miles were on the dash.
And why we got the car for such a killer deal. Or at least the cheapest that's ever been sold. This engine and transmission alone is roughly in the $6,500 to $7,000 range. So it would have been a massive loss, even though we still haven't heard the car start. So I guess we're not fully in the green yet. We have a lot more digging to do.
So let's jack it up. It's lifted and up in the air. I'm so nervous. And I just found out some insane information we're gonna talk about in a little bit. Well, we might have just figured out exactly what happened with this car. Oh, that's a whole tree branch. Oh, that's not coming off. Oh, look at this branch. What? Now, my biggest question is, how did this car lose all its oil? I don't see any cracks down here. Rear main seal looks very dry. Oil drain plug is tight, a little wet, but nothing crazy. Sebastian did tell me this car had aftermarket headers, but I don't know if these are aftermarket headers? No way. I think they are. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, no wonder this wheel's bent. Oh my God. This completely got destroyed and broke off of that. I really wonder if you guys are as stressed about this Corvette as I am, but we got a really cool package in the mail. Yes. And come back. And awesome enough, just in time for lunch. So this is factored. They send you chef-made meals straight to your door. Now, these meals have been incredible for me. As you guys know, my wife and I just purchased our dream home, and she also just started working, meaning I can't cook for myself, so I'm getting incredible macro meals. I mean, look at this. Garlic filet mignon and Parmesan tortellini. 45 grams of protein. Oh, absolutely love it. As someone that goes to the gym every day and wants to eat healthy, it's amazing. All you have to do is pierce it a few times with a knife so it vents. Throw it into the good old microwave. Boom. 2 minutes. While we wait for that to be made, I'm looking up some parts for this car. A fender is like $1,200. I had no idea Corvette parts were this expensive, but then again, we are in America, so they will get to us quicker. That's a good thing, but $1,200 for the fender? That's insane. At least we got an amazing meal getting heated up, which I think it's done. Let's go. Honest review. I haven't had this one yet. That's incredible. And what makes me feel amazing about this is these are real ingredients, real flavors. You're not putting junk into your body. Also, they have so many choices on the website. It's ridiculous. I believe it's like over 100 different choices. We also did get some protein shakes for whenever like driving around. Chug that real quick. Perfect. But of course, I had to get a great deal for you guys because I want you guys to be healthy too. And if you're like me and you don't have time to make meals and waste time like that, these are the perfect on the go. Head over to factor75.com and use the code that's on the screen right now. You will get 50% off your first ever box, and you will get free daily greens, 1 per box with active subscription. But okay, now we got a full belly, healthy body. Now we can go back to tackling on this Corvette. Okay, now we're gonna go look at the damaged side. I haven't even seen it yet. I don't really know what I'm looking for. I'm just hoping all the damage stayed there and it didn't go throughout the whole chassis. Here we go.
This was a very, very hard crash. Possibly one of the hardest I've seen. I mean, look at the banana of a frame this is.
Wow. So this is what was dragging all over the ground.
And we can 100% confirm this car went off-roading. I'm just praying everybody involved was okay. That's a lot of grass.
We got Tennessee grass.
To do a little more digging, we have to remove this metal undershroud so we can have access to the torque tube tunnel.
Now, what I'm seeing so far is the exhaust is definitely closer to this side than this side. This is not normal. The gap is smaller here compared to there.
I even tried using the tram gauge in an X pattern, but it didn't really give me any valuable information, especially with a crash like this.
Oh, check this out. No way. Look, it cracked. Wow, I'm like finding more and more damage as I keep going. It is time to remove this door. It's gonna just let us see more damage. Probably gonna take off the seat inside. I sent the video of the bottom of the car and the tram gauge to Jack Builds It, very knowledgeable person. He's gonna kind of guide me on what I should do. So while we wait for him to get back to us, let's remove this door.
And step one is we have to disconnect this plug that goes connected to the harness, and this was no easy task.
The plug is out. That plug was impossible to get. Now we're getting the bolts. I believe there's 2 on the top door hinge, 2 on the bottom. And I'm actually surprised how many 13 millimeters this car has. I thought it was gonna be like 12, 14. I guess not. Not complaining though, not complaining. Okay, and the door is off. Whoa. I don't know why I'm noticing this now that the door is off, but we may have further frame damage, which would suck if we do. And that is this pillar right here. I think it's bent in. Oh no. But it's kind of difficult by seeing. Oh yeah. I think so. Here's the thing, we're not gonna know what this side looks compared to the other side because the other side still has a trim piece. I believe to remove that trim piece, we have to remove the roof. Yes, we can actually remove the roof on this Corvette, so let's do that. Think like that. We press it or not. Oh, whoa. Okay. Yep, we go here. Okay. Oh, no way. We gotta be honest, Corvettes are pretty cool. This thing is light too. Eesh. Let's go. And now we can get a great look at the stitching that I absolutely love. I don't know what other models comes with the stitching like this that matches the interior, but wow, I love it.
But something I don't love so much is finally having the answer to what's going to happen with this car. It's not what I expected, but we just got a call back from a legend in the rebuild game and one of the most knowledgeable people I know. Jack Builds It.
That thing was hit pretty hard, dude. Get hit in doors like that, there's something always underneath, man. It looks like it's not, like it's like, oh, it's not that bad, but then I was like, that was my warning. I was like, I don't know, man. Like every time I see stuff like that, I'm like, you're removing glued on panels and to get the body off. Like it's not easy. That's really hard to do. I'm not trying to like make it sound real bad, but it's real bad.
It's as bad as it gets.
Yes, 100%.
And after speaking with V-Tuned, he had the same opinion. I love listening to advice, especially from people that know more than me, but I'm thinking let's keep digging and come to a conclusion later.
Oh no, I just saw something that's not good. It is not good at all. And we can't even get this door open because the doors on this car are electronic, meaning you open them through this little button right here.
Thankfully, there is a manual door emergency open for situations like this one.
All right, let's get to the latch. Oh, I see it. I see the latch. Oh, we got it. Yes. Door is open. This door's perfect, thank God. But check this out. Look how pinched the seat is to the transmission tunnel or torque tube tunnel, however you want to mention it. Yeah, I do think the chassis is completely twisted this way because that's not supposed to be like that.
And look at the massive gaps on the passenger side door and fender. Just proves even more the banana theory.
Check this out. Oh my goodness. This thing just cracked. Ah! Wow, this thing literally turned into a banana.
If there's one thing we all have learned is the rippling effect from a side impact is much greater than a front end hit or even a rear end hit.
By far my favorite part of the C7 platform, especially Grandsport Z06, is the rear end. It's so big and meaty, love it. But I found out something else about where the battery is for this car. So the battery is actually in the back and there's no point in front of the car to be able to jump it. So I don't know what we jumped, and I hope I didn't completely mess up the electrical system by throwing 12 volts directly into it. How we can open this with the dead battery and get to the battery is by going into here, but we gotta remove this bumper because it's not even on. Eesh. Tape and dreams. Oh my gosh. Oh.
We're removing all this blue tape from the back of the car so we can get to the manual latch puller. But turns out it doesn't even work.
Okay. I'm gonna get stuck in here. Battery. Oh, I see the battery. There's the battery. Here's the plan. Jump the battery, unlock the hatch. Boom. Okay. We got it. Why is the hatch not opening? I'm unlocking the car, the hatch isn't opening. This car has not been easy. We can't get to the trunk, we simply cannot. Even when we give it power, we press the trunk release on the key and inside the car and we still cannot get inside. I think I have an idea. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we gotta try everything at this point. And what is plan C, you may ask? One that cannot fail. We got it open. Yes! I just got back some really cool information about this car, and let's just say this Corvette has had a very, very rough life. This wasn't its first accident. This wasn't its second accident. This wasn't its third accident. This was the fourth accident this Corvette has gone through. I somehow keep purchasing the worst cars ever, but then again, that's why we got such a good deal on it. The first accident, it shows it hit a guardrail, and it shows front bumper damage, and I believe passenger side damage, which could explain the bad gaps to the door. But in reality, I don't think that's it. And I have come to a conclusion, and we're gonna talk about that conclusion in just a little bit, but this car has gone through a lot.
Let's keep moving and take off this destroyed fender.
The fender bolts are T15s. That is like the smallest thing. Also, I am so itchy. The fact that this car's pretty much 98% fiberglass, I am so itchy.
All the bolts up top, some bolts in the backside of the fender, and all the other bolts are pretty much gone since the fender got destroyed in the accident. And as my first time working on an American car, it is just very strange to me that all the panels aside from the bumpers are pretty much fiberglass. They're a fiberglass based composite, not just to save weight, but because it's easier to mold into aggressive shapes and cheaper to produce at lower volumes. So it's not just about being lightweight, it's also about the balance between performance, design, and cost. The downside is, as we saw, they can easily get damaged in a crash.
And if the calculations are correct, oh, the C7 fender is off. Let's go. Even though I'm not very happy that everything's fiberglass, the body lines and everything, this car is just so beautiful. Let me know what you prefer, the C7 or the C8. They're both very, very nice looking cars. Something I'm very surprised about, I cannot believe it hit the door that hard and it didn't mess up any of the threads of the hinges or mess up the hinges at all. Oh, a receipt. Oh, talk about receipt. No way. The cashier was McKinley, 7:15 p.m. I can't see the date, but it looks like January 20th, I don't know. I cannot believe he got a Mountain Dew Baja Blast. I didn't know people actually drank that. Oh, I remember seeing this though. We got the Corvette owner's manual, really cool. I don't think there's anything in here. 2017, oh, it is a little bit wet. No notes or anything though.
And with the fender out of the way, we can see more damage, but in reality, not as much as I thought. All the components and ECUs under the fender seem to be fine. What took most of the damage was the driver's side door and frame area. That's why it's all cracked, and the rippling effect has gone throughout the entire car, which is why most people do not rebuild or even attempt to touch cars that have been hit really hard from the side.
Pretty cool. The previous owner had a catch can set up. Nice.
Now we can move on to removing the seats, because I have a feeling the floors of the chassis are also kinked. Both front bolts are pretty easy to get to, but the rears, not so easy.
Look at the size of the extension I'm having to do or use to get the rear bolts for the seats, because this doesn't fit down there. Thankfully, we can get it angled enough just to get it. Whew. Oh, all bolts are off, but now the seat is sandwiched between the frame rail and the transmission tunnel. Oh my gosh. This is really bad. Oh, we got it. We got it. We got it. Okay. Forgot the seatbelt. Forgot the seatbelt. Forgot the seatbelt. Now, we gotta be nice to the seat because we're probably gonna reuse it since the airbag is completely separate from the seat itself. So we don't really have to fix anything. And weirdly enough, there's a little bulge here, but I think it may just be the carpet.
And I truly wish it were the carpet.
Oh, no. Oh.
What did I see? This. The crash was so massive it also kinked the back section of the chassis behind the seat. This whole thing is completely done. I think we need a little break and gather our thoughts.
Let this be a very, very big lesson for everybody purchasing cars from auction. It can be a dangerous game. I've gotten extremely lucky on some cars, and I've gotten very unlucky on other cars. But with that being said, we're not giving up. We still have a lot to find out. Oof. And that is, why was there no oil inside this car and we didn't find any leaks under it? The cooler in the front actually is for the transmission, not the engine. We gotta fill this up, see if it leaks. If it doesn't, we gotta try to start this car up. Yeah. Let's do this.
But here's what I completely missed that could very well give us the answer to our question. As I mentioned, the oil is stored in a separate tank from the engine, and when the car's cold, that oil is basically all over the place. Engine, lines, coolers, everywhere except where you're measuring it. The easiest way to think about it, it's like checking your bank account, but all your money's still in transit. You look at the balance, it says 0, but in reality, your money's just moving around, not gone. Same thing here. The oil isn't missing, it just hasn't made its way back to the tank yet. Once the engine warms up and everything starts circulating, all that oil gets pulled back into one place and the level should look perfect. At least I hope.
So, for you to be able to check the oil, you would have to turn the car on and get it to operating temperatures.
Oh, that makes so much more sense now, because we didn't find any oil leakage at the bottom. I think we're just gonna start it up. I know it's probably not a great idea, but I think we're just gonna do it. Okay, here we go. We're gonna jump it and start it.
It's either gonna lock up or start right up.
The car only has 78,000 miles. But that's definitely a lot of fluid coming out.
That's a whole lot of transmission fluid. Oh my goodness.
That didn't lock up. That started beautifully. Thank you, God. That is so strange though. I mean, I wonder why they disconnected that from the battery pack, because thanks to that and them not being able to start it at auction or even turn it on to see the dash, it saved us so much money. We would have probably paid $15,000 to $16,000 if this car started at auction.
And I think we can confirm the car has headers and the display's digital. I didn't even know that. So sick.
And pretty much all we need is transmission cooler lines as well as the transmission cooler. And we can pretty much drive this car. That is the amazing thing about American cars. They're much more simple than European. So even though he got in a crazy crash, we can pretty much start the car and drive away, theoretically. In life, you can go about it two ways. Some people love listening to advice and they use that as a shortcut to not have to waste time going through those struggles. Other people don't listen to advice and kind of just do their thing and then find themselves in a spot where they wish to listen to advice. And that's where we're at right now. There's two guys I really look up to when it comes down to the automotive rebuild space, because I want to get better at this and I love doing this. It's so fun. And they both have come to the same conclusion and told me the same thing, even though they didn't speak to one another. And that is to fix this car in these circumstances, let alone even at a frame rack, would be very, very difficult and not even worth it. But thankfully, we're in a spot where we have options. And that is, we can do a whole chassis swap on this car. Yeah. And another great thing is we have something called auto auctions, where I purchase this car. And this auto auction also sells stolen vehicles that have been stripped. This one right in front of me goes live in 24 hours. So I have to figure out if I'm buying this or not and doing a complete chassis swap, meaning move everything from this car to the new car, which may sound like a pain, but if we really want to fall through with this Corvette dream and goal to add it to the collection and keep this car alive, it's what must be done.
If you're new here, we've actually already had to do this once before with my M3 competition. Till this day, it's the biggest project I've ever done. We had to pretty much build an M3 from scratch as if we were a whole factory. And having to do that on a brand new platform I've never driven or even worked on before, the Chevy Corvette, honestly sounds terrifying. But if we were able to do it once before on a more complicated European car, we can do it again to keep the Corvette dream alive.
Oof, black ice, man of culture, refined parking solutions. Whoa, this is pretty much an automotive storage facility. I see a bunch of Ferraris and supercars on here, so wow, maybe this car was stored there. Very interesting. So if you want to see me buy a stolen Corvette and do a whole chassis swap, which I don't think anybody's ever done or would even do, comment below, leave a like. I love you guys. At least we ended this video in a very positive note, and I'm very thankful we're in a spot where even taking a massive L like this, we can make a positive out of it. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one. You don't want to miss it.